record. And we're recording. So
Sweet.
look, it's fucking awesome to finally see that pretty beard in person.
Oh, cheers. Yours is coming along, but my dog just started going psycho. Yeah, yours is coming along, but it's that mustache is something to be astonished by.
How long you been growing yours?
I'd say just over 3 years. But I shaved for my wedding because I was like, I want to have nice photos and not have a massive tan line.
Yeah.
But then I ended up having a beard anyway, so it's probably been the last 4 years, been like a month without it, so to speak.
Jesus, that's fucking goals. Yeah, mine's just
man.
Mine's at like shitty, itchy, patchy stage. But it's also the longest I've ever had it. Like in my whole adult life, I've never had a beard. So I don't know if I'm going to have a good or shit beard.
Well, you don't know till you go out, but it's a lot of work, I will admit. It's as much as I love it, I wouldn't shave it off for anything. Like the upkeep's pretty. It reminds me of you see A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Yeah.
Yeah, where there's like a mustache is like it costs like $100 a week, and that's like a fuckload of money. It's a similar thing. It's just the upkeep's annoying, but it's worth it. So
yeah. I need to get there. I need to get I think I'll break through this shit stage, and then I'll be like, yep, I enjoy this. But right now, I'm just going for that homeless look.
Yeah, that's the one. I can't wait till I finally get it. I can go grow my hair long and dye it and stuff and look like a real bum rather than just have this big old beard.
So you can have the beard you have in the Navy?
Yeah, man. Yeah, 100%. So it's in our policies, in our policy stuff. We can't have mustaches, but.
So you can't have a mustache, but you have a beard like you have now?
Yeah, man, 100%. Is
that every rank or?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's as a junior sailor, so like me, and that if my beard I get away with a bit more. If I was a higher upper, they'd probably be a bit more harsh about it because I've got to look good for the people and that. But it's meant to be noble in the 5 sailmatters, but I just don't bring a ruler and no one asks any questions, so it's all good.
It's like the fucking exact opposite from the army. Our hair, they changed the the hair standards. It used to be 4 centimeters groomed. So as long as like yours at the moment, it's groomed lower than 4 centimeters, but they've actually rechanged the policy recently to 4 centimeters total length. So no piece of hair longer than 4, and 4 centimeters is fucking nothing.
No, it's nothing there. Ours is 5, but groomed. But even still, that's especially up here in Darwin, man, it's a lazy 5 centimeters.
Yeah.
I've seen guys some pretty messed up haircuts, especially when you've been at sea for a while and you're just like, I need a haircut, and you're doing it and the boat's rocking heaps and shit, and then you come back with bits missing and long ass hair and you're like, oh, I just slick it back, chuck that hat on, she'll be right.
Fuck. Yeah, wrong service. So what boat are you posted to? I don't really know how the Navy works. You get posted to boats, don't you?
Yeah, so for up here, you can get posted to the base or to a boat.
Yeah.
So I know if you for you guys, you get posted to your squadron or unit or whatever, and that's you. Whereas for me, I'm posted to HMAS Coonawarra at the moment. That's the base. And then from there, I can get posted to a boat, being the last boat I was on, HMAS Maitland, for 3 years. That was my first and only boat up here. So it's you're part of the base, but the boat's a different thing in the base, if that makes sense.
And what's HMAS Maitland? What type of fucking?
So it's Armidale class patrol boat. So think Sea Patrol.
Yeah.
Think the second or third season where they get the new Fandangle looking rig. That's exactly the same type of boat that we have at the moment still.
Yeah, right. And what's that there to do? Just pull people up or shoot?
Yeah, so our main
fucking nothing. I know what clearance types are, and that's about it. That was my second option.
There's a bunch of gym junkies who just love looking at themselves in the mirror.
That's me. That's I should have done that instead of grunts.
Oh, right. Yeah. So our main job is fisheries and border enforcement. So we go out to where our waters end and international waters begin type of thing, and we'll patrol along there and make sure people are doing the right thing with fishing and making sure no one's trying to sneak people in and stuff, which isn't so much of a big deal nowadays. But all it takes is a change in government and change in policy, and we get very, very busy very, very quickly. So it's forever changing.
Fucking, I bet, man, that's fucking mental.
Yeah, bro.
And so now you've been posted to a base instead of a boat. What sort of your day-to-day look like on that? Just because I'm
So at the
like,
so it was just normal working hours. We started like 7:30, worked there till like 4. But as of this week, we started doing 6-hour shifts. So I'm doing from 6 in the morning till lunch, and I'm home. And then the next week we changed to doing Arvo. So I start at lunch and work till 6 at night.
yeah.
But it's great.
What's that for? What's triggered that?
So it was a COVID thing. So when COVID kicked off, up here we got away super lucky. Like I know as you guys did down in Adelaide and that. But so because of like you can only have so many people in a room and you got to stay so far apart and all that crap. They went, we'll split the working hours so that there's less people in the building at a time.
Yeah.
Or in the area at a time at least. And then it kind of just didn't really change back because it works.
Like,
yeah, well, it works so well and it's so good, and we're still meeting the minimal hours a week of working. So it's like, why change it if it ain't broken type of thing?
It's funny, like everyone who listens to my podcast who hasn't served yet is just like, yep, fuck the army. I'm going Navy.
Yeah, man. Well, I did like a joint task group with some guys from the army, like at a one CISB and all that up here. And I was like talking to them about what I do at work, and they're like, bro, we literally, our code was like, no, we have to be here. CISB has to be ready at all times. I'm like, for what? In case you have to transport something somewhere? And they're like, yeah, pretty much. I'm like, fuck, I could only imagine.
As one CISB, mate, they fucking carry on anyway.
I know.
Everyone just calls them either one Gisby or one Sassy.
Yeah, I heard one Sassy and hear one Gisby. That's a good one.
Yeah. Fuck. Yeah, ready for everything, but fill up my truck and
never
leave. Yeah, it's a funny one. We are too, but the boys have just been ready since well before the bushfires last year, and they've been called out heaps, but it's not to what the boys want to go to. It's to bushfires or COVID. It's not like we're kicking in this dude's door.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's like with up here, we got left alone a lot, especially for COVID and that. Like there's been the odd handful of Navy guys that go do like sit on the borders or whatever, but for the most part, because we have without being horrible, because we like actively deploy it so often, even though it is just like a glorified charter boat, we got left alone a bit because we need to fill those positions on the boats, and then everyone else was like, no, we can't spare those people.
Yeah.
But I did a stint on COVID and I actually enjoyed it. It was pretty fun. But I definitely got away with a lot. I just stayed locally and did some stuff up here. I didn't have to go down to a border and stand in the heat for no stupid reason. So definitely can't complain.
Yeah, I was good to hear that COVID hasn't fucked you around too much. Unlike
nah, man, like I said, we got away scot-free. Like the worst it was when I was on board my boat, we would rock up to work at 8, stand a distance away from each other on oval. We'd make sure no one's sick, no one's dying, and be like, hey, go home. Don't do anything dumb. And I come home and like just spend time with the missus, go to the gym, play with my dog, just chill out, and then I'd rock up to work, do the next day and do the same thing.
Jesus Christ. That's awesome. Yeah, I had like somewhat the opposite. I was like going to work laughing about COVID and shit and like, no, they fucking form up in open order and do this, do that. Stop standing near each other, you pricks. Like you just someone from across the thing, oi, dickheads. He's like, fuck. Spread out, man. Spread out.
Oh.
And then I was like, really? Are you like high range? I'm like, no, I don't think so. Like the CSM center is like, wait. And he rang up the medical center. He like spoke to them for like a second and he just looks at me and goes, fuck off. I'll tell you when to come back in.
What? We had something similar. One of the boys rocked up and he's like, oh, I had a bit of a cough and a bit of a sneeze, and we were just like, get the fuck over there, you're in quarantine, fuck off. And our medic come across and we're like, bro, he's sick, go get him. And he's like, he wasn't, he just had a bit of a sniffles, but we're just like taking the absolute piss out of him. And he's like, but I want to come over and talk. Like, no, you're not part of the conversation, go away. 1.5 meters.
The biggest piss take was that because it takes 24 48 hours to get a test result back, the mandatory 48 hours isolation. Because I was doing like the Excel spreadsheet on Objective for whoever in the unit was, or at least in the company, who was isolating, what's going on, when they're back, whatever. And I was doing it up, putting on Objective. I'm like, I'm going to fucking like swipe over all of this and see which ones are on a fucking like Wednesday or Thursday. And I guarantee all of them were just like, yeah, nah, if you're going to get sick, do it on Thursday morning.
Get that 4-day weekend in you.
But I'm not angry because I'm like, nah, these guys, like most of these guys have missed out on so many long weekends in their career. They're like, I'm going to have one because I have a slot.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Take advantage of it when you can, man. Don't play to the system. Oh, sorry, play to the system. Don't go with it.
Fucking oath. Hey, what's the thing on your right, like my left? Is like a ball on the fucking other side.
Oh, that thing. Oh, that's a dog toy that he doesn't play with.
I thought it was going to be some like mad fucking strongman shit.
I mean, it could be. You're not wrong, but it's no. We bought it for our puppy. He's an Amstaff cross, and he doesn't play with it. I'd like shake it and stuff, and he bounces and then leaves it alone. So it was $150 of well spent money.
That's dogs through and through, mate.
Oh, 100%.
That's why you get a cat.
Right, I got 2 cats.
Oh, I do. I fucking love cats.
I don't have 2 cats. My wife has 2 cats. Yeah. They're hers.
Nah, bro. The guy that put me onto cats was, do you know Dan Pronk, like Dr. Pronk?
Yeah.
He was the one that gave me the most clear like thing of cats ever. Because he was like patting my cat and he's like, I fucking love cats. It's like, because they remind me of like a bloke, because they can be the biggest independent cunt ever and want nothing to do with you. But then sometimes all they want is to lie on the couch and have a cuddle and a sook. It's like every bloke I know, they're fuckwits, and then like after hours with their missus, like, "Oh, come here, boo." It's so true, and it gave me a whole new perspective on cats.
Oh, that is 100. I never thought about that. But that's 100% true, because my missus's oldest cat, I keep saying it's our cat, but we agreed if we have a divorce that I get the dog, she gets the cats. But I was like sleeping last night, and I was lying there, and he tried to cut up my arm, and it scared the shit out of me because I was half asleep. So I went up to pat him, and then he bit me.
Yeah.
So I took a swing at him, obviously, because he tried to bite me. But I was like, "What the fuck's wrong with you? I'm trying to sleep here, dude." And he just come up and just tried to nuzzle it in me, which is fine, but you scared the shit out of me. So I've gone to patch you, and you bit me. I'm like, "Fuck you! You're gonna lock you in a cupboard one day, you fucking fluffy cat."
Yeah, fucking absolutely, mate. Yeah, cats are a fucking interesting creature. They didn't even we didn't even domesticate them. They like domesticated themselves because they're like, well, this seems like a better life. Fuck this.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I read somewhere that they're saying that their meow isn't natural, that they've learned to meow because it's the sound, it mimics the sound of a baby crying, and women get very like maternal towards it, which I was like, holy shit, that's, if they've done that, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
the fact that it was like
the meow, it's not like a thing. It's a thing they've developed just to fucking scab off us.
Yeah, exactly. Because you look at the big cats like lions and tigers and stuff, they don't really like meow like that. They purr and stuff, and they have their calls, but they don't really sit there and like cry like meow like a cat sort of thing.
Yeah. Oh mate, it's fucking hilarious. Hey, let's go back.
I
guess other than just talking shit, I have a bit of a rundown of stuff to talk about with you, Steve. Anyone who listens to any of these podcasts is like, it's just Willie talking shit 95% of the time. But
100%.
Growing up in Western Sydney, and you move into the Central Coast, playing sport, heavily into fucking everything by the sounds of it.
Pretty much. We were like, because when we moved to the coast, I was like 3, so I was super little. I don't remember too much about it growing up in the West Sydney area. But yeah, man, from when I can remember, like Dad took us down to a local rugby league match when I was like 4 or 5 or something like that, and he just looked at me and goes, "Oh, do you want to play? Like, are you interested in that type of thing?" And instead of being like, "Oh yeah, I want to play," I ran on the field and started playing. Because I thought that's what, and he had to only run after me and drag me back and be like, "No, we'll come sign you off." So yeah, I played that for all type of sports from then till I stopped playing when I was like 26. I stopped playing because I joined the Navy and I had a massive break. And then I played one more year up here, but I realized that like, man, I'm gone. I'm 30 this year, but like, bro, I need to retire. I can't live that life anymore.
Yeah. So you joined the Navy 26.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. What sort of did you do up until then? Because I guess I don't know about the Navy. I know except for unless Army, that's like fucking older than all our even our oldest dudes.
Yeah, man. So when I joined, I was like middle of like towards the of the older spectrum, even though I wasn't that old. But before I joined, I'm a greenkeeper by trade. So I work on golf courses and lawn bowls, greens and stuff like that. I learn how to grow grass and look after it and shit like that. So I did that for like 5 years.
Yeah.
Before I joined, so it was fun. It's hard work, super hard work.
I fucking bet. You come look after my lawn if you want. If the Navy discharge it.
I've seen your photos on Instagram, and I've been tempted to say something, but I'm like, I'll say something, but I can't remember because it's been like 5 years since I've done anything. I'm like trying to think of stuff. I'm like, oh, yes, Hob. The only thing I can say is, bro, cut those trees down. Like, just get rid of them. There's surely have a storm come through. Like, oh, the trees fell over. Oh no.
Yeah, that's why there's a big fucking chainsaw. It's the problem though. All the fucking like Norfolk Island pines all down there, just like, well, this has fucked me.
Yeah, they're like, you're so nice, but I just want you to fall over so much.
Oh yeah, fucking oath. Well, I hate them too because they fill the gutters with all their nettles and like all this shit. I'm like, oh my god. Like,
yeah, bro. It's painful as shit. I've dealt with like all I can't remember what they're called. The little trees that drop like the spiky balls you can throw at each other. I can't remember what they're called.
Yeah.
But like dealing with them, man, they're a pain in the ass. They're like, they look really nice, but they drop their fruit, I guess you call it, and then it's just like clean up that shit for days on end, and then you start again because it's autumn and everything's fallen. It's not fun at all.
Oh mate, absolutely. I'm like that here. Just like everything. My water tank's full of fucking things. My gutters. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Trying to do everything.
Pretty much.
But I'm moving out of here anyway. So the lawn, I don't think I'm going to beat my neighbour, but we shall see.
You can start again.
Fucking oath. So what was, I guess, the decision that made you like Navy? Like, what was the appeal there?
There really wasn't appeal. Like it wasn't like I was drawn to it. Because I originally wanted to join when I was like 16, and I wanted to join the army and try and do my apprenticeship because I thought that was a thing. And then went to DFR in Newcastle, did the U session, I think it was back then, and pretty much didn't get the job because I didn't pass the aptitude test, whatever. And then I left it for years on end. And then about 22, I had another rise and tried to join the Air Force or something. And then that didn't go to plan. So then I backed out again. And then I was speaking to one of the boys when I was working on my last course, and he joined the Air Force as a aeronautical life support fitter.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, I could do that. What's it like? Talk to him about it. I was like, oh sweet, I'll give it a crack. And I put that down as number one. Number two was a combat engineer, and number three was Navy bosun, what I do now. And I had to do like a second aptitude test, which I failed by a question. So I kind of just defaulted to bosun, and then I ended up 4 years later here. There wasn't really like a drive to be like, I have to be in like Navy and stuff. I just, they were like, you can go bosun if you want. I was like, yeah, sweet. Makes sense. I grew up on the beach. I've been around the water my entire life. So it's like nothing changed in that department, but yeah.
So, excuse my ignorance, but what the fuck does a bosun's mate actually do?
Like, so it's
even I don't know, Willie. I just rock up, get paid.
Right, that's about it, eh? I get paid my money and go home at the end of the day. No, because we cover so much. But I spoke to one of the higher up a guy. Was a lean seaman. He's a corporal equivalent.
Yeah. And
I was talking about like how we describe the job, and he's like, "Oh, we're like a jack of all trades type of thing." I'm like, "Oh yeah." So pretty much what we do is we cover all the seamanship on board. So like looking after the boat, make sure it doesn't rust. Like all the lines and equipment we use in the upper decks. Pretty much like a decky on another like a tug or whatever. But then we cross into gunnery. So we do like, so I'm calling like 50 cal, 25 mil, Mag 58, Minimaya, F88, all that stuff. And we do like majority of the boardings as well. So we'll get a boarding train coming through IATs, small boats driving, and then stuff like that. And we can progress into like being an officer of the watch and all that type of thing. So being the guys that actually like drive the ship, so to speak.
Yeah.
So it kind of covers everything, which that's the reason I like actually like it and want to stuck with it, is because it's not just you are this and this is what you do. It's like I have a vast range of like things I can do that it changes from day to day. So it keeps it interesting, but it's not overly hard in the sense either.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, I guess there's a lot of jobs in the Navy come with it, because I've got a close friend of mine going through maritime warfare officer training, whatever it is.
Yeah, so they're
and I'm like, that's
so they're our so they're our officers, if that makes sense. So he's a seamanship officer, so I'm a seamanship rate. So it's like if I was to transfer across, I could transfer over to be an MW. Not that I wouldn't, because I'm who wants to do that in their life. It's 4 years of very, very hard work.
Fucking oath. Well, not only that, I'm like, at the end of that 4 years, your like responsibility is fucking huge. Like it's like, yep, you're in charge of this fucking thing. Like,
yeah,
Jesus
yeah, man. 100%. So that qual I can get so in their third year or something, they come to Darwin and they learn how to do like drive a patrol boat. As a Kellyxo corporal equivalent, I can get the same endorsement as them.
Yeah.
And do the same job. So I was once I found out about, because I actually had to think about changing over to officer. But then once I found out, I was like, well, what's the point? I get the same qual, I get more responsibility, but less responsibility in the same sense, because I'm only charged my job. I'm not some 18, 19-year-old guy who's still learning his trade, but I've got all this responsibility to go with it, and I've got to compete with guys who've been here for like 10 plus years who know what they're doing and won't back down.
Yeah. Fucking crazy, yeah.
Yeah, man.
It's a weird world, bro. At least for me.
100%.
It's a branch that we don't really expose to. Like, I guess maybe the most I've ever done with the Navy was when I was with the fucking Air Force. But like, I wasn't even with them. I was on one of their planes on a P8 Poseidon flying over Navy boats. And I'm like, and I was just like an invite fucking PAX. And it was like, this is the most work I've ever done with them.
Yeah, man, we've very much the not the left alone branch, but yeah, like I was speaking to guys and they're like, watch the Air Force and Army guys talking, they're talking the same lingo, and I'm just like, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Like they're talking about all these radios and stuff, and I'm just like, bro, like, I don't know what you're talking about. And they're like, but you're this. I'm like, no, just different, way different. Oh
yeah, even your fucking drill and shit's different.
I love our drill. It's so lazy. It's so good.
I don't know shit. I reckon I forgot it all at Kapuka and I haven't done it since.
Oh, you do. Like once I left Cerberus, like we still do the odd ceremonial stuff, but like everything that was like drilled in, so to speak, it is like straight over the top. And people ask, because they come to us for like ceremonial and drill advice, and I'm just like, oh yeah, march in a straight line and don't screw it up. You'll be right.
Yeah.
Just do what everyone else is doing. You'll be fine.
I love how in defense that is advice. Just don't fuck it up. And you're like, hey, can you help me with, don't fuck it up.
Yeah. I love the, just don't be shit.
Yeah, just don't be shit.
Just don't be shit.
Just do better.
Yeah, man.
When I give you any advice, just be better, cunt.
Yeah, 100%.
And are you on your way out of the Navy? Is that correct?
Yeah, so, yeah, man. So I've like, so this is coming to my 5th year now, and I decided that mid last year, I had a couple of things going on with work that I was like, I've had enough. Not like to kick the bucket and be like, I'm done, I'm out straight away. I was like, this isn't long term. This is just going to be like a stepping stone type of thing. So I've started doing some external study, and I'm going to probably do another 5 years or so, get my 10 years after, then either go reservist or just completely separate, but be on like good terms, because like I love the job. I hate the politics.
Yeah, I think that's felt across all services. We love the job, we love what it stands for, but the politics of so much is just getting in the way of actually doing it properly.
Yeah, 100%. There's been times where it was like you try and do something and you're like, oh yeah, I can do it, it's fine, it's a little bit like skew-if, but it's not, no one's going to get hurt. And then someone has to come over and say something, and it's like, okay, I do it the dumb way because someone in the chair wrote a policy that says you got to do it this way, and he's like, man, you have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, right. Yeah, see, I don't have much exposed to that. I think like as far as like stuff like that, the infantry is the bastard job left alone, because it's like I think they just understand the job is so dangerous in the beginning. Like no one gives a fuck about other OHS. If it's not on a range, no one gives a shit. Like unless it's shooting, it's like you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Fuck the dream. I wish we were like that, man. We got like our policies like wrapped in policy. Like it's some of it makes sense, and I'm like, yeah, sweet, completely agree. But some of them are like, man, you can do so much easier. But you just letting someone who sits in a chair in Canberra or sits somewhere and goes, oh yeah, sounds like a good idea. I'm going to implement this, and you're like, if you're going to implement, at least speak to the guys that do it, so that you can be like, I've said you do it this way, but you guys come back and like, yeah, it works up with this step, so let's change from this step onwards. Because it just gets very, very, very dumb, very, very frustrating. And he's like, man, why? What's the point?
Well, that's the problem. You're getting decisions of people that aren't doing it.
Yeah, man.
Things can sound like a fantastic idea on paper. You do it, and it's like this is fun. Like think of, and I even put down to the new style, like the new EF-88. It's a fantastic weapon for defense. Like it honestly is, but not for the infantry. Like if you're a truckie or whatever, they're a great weapon. But the infantry and a bullpup rifle on paper sounds awesome. You know, you get better range, got a longer barrel, got all this shit, you know, and it's awesome on paper, and it's awesome on a, you know, normal class range. But the infantry, when they're doing, you know, enhanced combat shooting, you're like, it's in the fucking way all the fucking time. Like, I cannot shoot offhand properly unless a copper just rounds in the fucking face. To do a tactical reload, I have to take my eyes off the enemy and lift the weapon out of my workspace. You know, the workspace isn't where you say it. You've changed that because of the weapon system.
Man.
You know, it's like, I know you've made this decision, but it doesn't work. The Hawkeye doesn't have a fucking spare tire. Like, come on.
Nah. You got a trailer for that. Don't worry about it. Bro, so this is how far, it's something to say in terms of like the equipment. So Army gets the latest and greatest. Air Force gets the hand-me-downs. We wait 5 years to get the Air Force hand-me-downs. So we're still rocking the SA2s. We haven't even got the EF-88 yet.
Don't worry about that, bro. So, the SA2 is the better. Honestly, like hand on heart, if I were to go into any war zone right now, I'd rather go with an SA2.
Yeah, right. Okay. Because the only exposure I've had to EF-88s is at the WETS simulation, because they have at Robbo up here, they have those. That we're not qualified inspector sites. So when we do our shoot, we did a shoot the other day, and we had to change and put the old fucking donut scopes on.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, which I'm like they made sense like 10 years ago, but surely we can like just train people. But yeah, it's very much we get the hand-me-downs. Like we were still running up until last year NVGs, the single scope NVGs.
Yeah.
And then we only just got the BMVDs this year, and
that's pretty good. The BMVDs are fucking pretty good.
Yeah, man, they're great. Just none of the guys are qualified because they're all like, oh yeah, we've done NFE training, so we got the NWS and the NVGs. But then they go, oh, here's a BMVD, and guys is like, what do I do with it?
Yeah, good.
It's like, bro, it's a night vision, but it's binocular. Okay, cool. What do I do with it?
Oh, fucking
like,
Jesus.
Sweet. Let's do the qual.
Yeah, do the qual. This is how to turn it on and off. This is how to fit it. Good to go. Fuck off.
Exactly. Sweet.
Walk around with it.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, I'd take an SA2 with an ACOG sight any day over fucking anything. Look, it is not. It's definitely not a more capable weapon, but as far as like my exposure to it, like that's the one I've done everything on. But I think it's people are like, oh, it's fucking heavier. It's like, well, yeah, but it's heavier before the EF-88 has all the other shit on it. Like the EF-88, one of the biggest problems now is that because of, now you can attach things. You have fucking everything on it. You got all these sights and shit. And it's like any of the weight saving we were meant to do has just been turned over by just pieces everywhere. It's like fucking torch and shit.
It's like we've got the brand new thing. Here's everything for it. And it's like, I don't need everything for it. Guess what? You're going to wear everything anyway. Why the fuck not?
That's like your SCE you shoot for your body armor and shit. I'm not sure about you guys, but you get like 3 bags worth of pouches and you use like 3 of them. like I'll put like a triple shingle of mags, maybe a double, and that's it. Like I'll have these 3 cases full of pouches that I'll end up losing, and you'll charge me a heap at the end of my career for.
So our T-Bass, which we only just upgraded from the McBass not too recently. Man. Gets issued to the boat, so no one gets issued their vest. So we get issued like 15 or so kits or whatever, and that's the boats. So if you need to use it, you have to go get it equip it to make it fit you, and then use it. But when someone else needs to use it, they can take it off you and equip it to themselves. But like especially up here, we rarely use it because they're meant to, for boardings, they're meant to wear them, but it's so hot. And you're already wearing like so much gear to do it anyway that the boarding officer's like, nah, don't get stabbed. You'll be all right. Just don't put yourself in front of a knife and you'll be cool.
Yeah, fucking fair. I don't see why they just don't give you our old, like, yeah, it wouldn't be the fucking grey camo shit, but like all our legacy T-Bass, everything, just give fucking boys that. We have that many, like, we have that much of that shit, like the old multicam, even in like the tan color, like we have that much of it floating around.
Yeah, I don't know why, man. I think they just thought it's a good idea, and plus it's got to be 50 Shades of Grey, otherwise it doesn't count. So
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
they're gonna see you coming anyway.
Oh, 100%. It's like, we'll make the ships grey. It's like, sweet, why? It's like, because they blend in. It's like, they don't. If you ever seen a grey piece of water, and they got white on them anyway, so who cares?
Yeah, or maybe back in like World War I, where they were painting them with like all that dazzle cam and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Like against any near peer, it's gonna be, we're gonna know if they've got a boat in the water 1,000 k's away. Don't worry about
100%.
Don't worry about them seeing you through a pair of binos. Like
if
you see another ship, you are fucked.
100%. And especially for us, like our hull is made of like aluminium. So I described one of the boys who's like, oh, the ship can withstand this stuff. It's like, bro, we're a giant floating Coke can. So if anything happens, think of when you crush a Coke can, that's what's going to happen to us. So if we're not going to wars to fight, if someone's got guns that are bigger than us, we're turning around and running back and calling for mum and dad to bring the bigger stuff. We're hiding. We're getting the fuck out of Dodge.
Yeah, fucking A. It's mental, man. It's funny. Yeah. It's a funny world, defense, and how the money and shit. All the biggest thing I care about the Navy now is I've got stocks with Austral shipping. I'm like, build some shit, make me some money, because all I've done is lose.
Yeah, man, we're experiencing the upgrades now for the new OPVs they're getting. The base is going through construction, and it's it's joyful. It's very, very joyful at the moment. So they're the offshore patrol vessels. They're replacing the Armadales.
Yeah.
In the next couple of years, they're getting built down in SA, and they're going to get sailed around. They're just going to be bigger, more capable, out for longer type of thing. Just like essentially an upgraded version.
Yeah.
I'm not excited by them. A lot of people are. I couldn't care less. I'm happy with Armadales. I like them. They're what I know. So I don't want to. They're starting to decommission them now. And I'm just like, I'll pay these things off and leave and be very happy. I don't need to experience something new again.
Yeah, that's fair. You get those people that the subject matter expert on one and then fuck off with it. Pretty
much, yeah. I'll see these things go. I'll hopefully see one more go, then I'll be out of Darwin. So that'd be nice.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I know that was like with the P3 Orion when they went to the P8s. There was like planes. There was a lot of guys be like, nah, I'm not going to transfer over. That's what I know. That's what I do. But I think they also used it as a way to get rid of some crust as well. It was like, when we're purposely not going to qual these people because we just want some new blood in there.
Yeah, 100%. I was speaking to some lady up at the local shops at her old place up here like a couple of years ago, and she was talking about like quals and that in defence, because I was in my uniform. I just got off to work, going to the shops to get dinner or whatever. And she's like, oh, my son wants to join up as a technician. And I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, good on him type of thing. And she's like, oh, what quals would he get? And in my head, I'm like, none, absolutely nada. But I was like, I can't say that to you because I want to promote a good image. And I was like, oh, screw it, I'll be honest, but I'll be like sugarcoated. And I was like, oh, you probably won't get many quals. You'll get like, because they get like a halfway through like a Cert 3 in a TAFE course, like an electrical fitters TAFE course or a Frigis TAFE course, something like that. But they still have to leave and do the rest of the trade. Defence gives them enough to be employable for defence. But the moment you go, oh, I've got a full trade, deuces, I'm out. They're like, well, we're going to lose how much money we put into training you. So let's give you enough to be employable for us, but not enough so you can just do your 4 years or 6 years or whatever and leave. Which, I mean, it's smart, but it's not a good way to keep people in. Yeah,
it's fucking hard, isn't it? That in between. Oh, well, don't worry, the infantry don't have that. We
same. I get nothing.
I was filling out my shit like for leaving, and it's like, oh, so you're gonna get your quals. I'm like, I was a grunt. I'm like, I just because we're good at our job doesn't mean I've got any outdoor. And some of the civilian quals I got, I'm like, that is way more than it should be. Like, yeah, you got a Cert 3 and work health and safety and managing person. I'm like, if you put me in a Coles and go do some health and safety, there will be accidents. So it will be fucked.
Yeah, because I'm looking at health and safety being like, you'll be fine. Don't slip over. But someone else comes looking like, no, you've got to clean the mess up and put it to the side. I'm just like, don't walk over it. Don't be an idiot. Yeah. Very much a common sense approach to work health and safety rather than an actual in-depth, use the hierarchy and all that stuff. Just
yeah. Fucking oath. The powerlifting, when did that come? Because obviously, you grew up playing like traditional sport.
Yeah.
When did you?
So I started doing that, say 2 years ago. We'll call it 2.5 years ago. I started doing it as just like, I'll just start going because I go to the gym anyway. But especially still join the Navy because when you do an IAT, like you do your coursework for the day, come home, go to your room down in Cerberus, and it's just like, sweet.
Nothing.
What am I going to do? And so I can either start drinking or I can go to the gym. And I was like, well, I'm not a massive drinker, so I'll start going to the gym. And started enjoying it. I'd been before through footy, but it was very specific for the sport. Whereas I went with a mate who was quite into it already and taught me some things and started to enjoy it more. And just everyone goes to the gym anyway in defense, so fine. So I was like, sweet, I can start doing that. And then I got bored one day and I was like, I'll just see how heavy I can lift. And then I was like, oh, this is fun. Just keep doing it. And then I was like, okay, sweet. I'll start doing powerlifting. And then, last year, mid last year, I got a coach and started actually taking it a little bit seriously because it's I found that without being cocky, I could for just my level, I can move some weight. So I was like, well, I might as well learn how to do it properly so I can actually compete at a good level and have some fun with it because it's an easy thing to do. It's not. I don't have to do too much. I just have to go to a gym and train, and then that's it, and go to a comp every now and then.
Eat a fucking shitload.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I got a comp coming up there next month, and I've got to drop weight, and I'm like, sweet. But he's like, you still got to eat upwards 2.5, 3,000 calories. And I was like, shit.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I don't know how you fucking afford
it. Lucky the missus can cook and she can budget very, very well. Because I'd just be like, he just grab stuff from the top shop. And she's like, no, get the discounted stuff, get this. I can cook this, I can whip it up. I can get meat from here. I'm like, okay, cool. You do that. I'm just going to sit back and eat it.
Yeah, fucking that's good shit. And what numbers are you pushing?
So at the moment, my last comp, I squatted 250 kilos, benched 150 odd, and deadlift 270.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
What weight?
Then I was 130 kilos, so I was a bit heavy. To be honest, I'm suited to about 120. I'm trying to get to about 118 would be comfortable.
Yeah.
Competing weight anyway, and then sit around 123 just for day-to-day stuff. So because when I was 130, I was like, "Ooh, this is not good." I didn't know it at the time, but speaking to mum and dad, and they're like, "You're looking very puffy in the face." And I did a fitness test, and I failed that something I would normally pass. And I was like, well, "Okay, this is a bit of a wake up call. I need to stop being so fat and start dropping some weight."
Yeah, but burgers and shit are fun, man.
Oh, 100%. It's especially being on a boat where you get three square meals a day. Our chefo's awesome. And he's just the galley, just go and just get food. Just tell me if you're going to take anything substantial. So you're sweet, have dinner. And then you're sitting there at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night, let's go get some ice cream. And then you go get a bowl full of ice cream and you're sitting there eating the ice cream and just after you've already had dessert with dinner, you can eat to your heart's content.
My boys had, I reckon it was 2 or 3 months on HMAS. I was split between HMAS Canberra and Adelaide.
Yeah.
For TS, I think it would have been, for Tasman Sabre.
Yeah.
And they all reckon they've never eaten better in their life. They're like, I couldn't fucking get over it.
I know how I've spoken to guys, I've never experienced it. I feel like it's the weird thing of I want to know what it's like to eat a MRE or whatever, just because I'm like, why not? Because I know how good I get it in terms of I have my meals, like not prepared, but well, I do have them prepared. But there's 3 square meals a day of decent food, and I can eat. If I'm hungry, I can go get something to eat. If I'm thirsty, I can go get a can of drink. If I want like a chocolate or some lollies, whatever, I can go hit the can in and get some food like that. We get like, I'm very, very appreciative of how spoiled we are for choice. So I'm like, I want to see what the plebs eat, so to speak.
Have you ever had a Rat Pack?
No, never. Not in the entire time serving.
You'll be impressed. Like for one, you're like, this is good. Like this isn't that bad at all. But then like after a week of you're like, because there's the army got fucking thrashed the other day online. I was laughing so much because it was like, did you know that the soldiers can choose between like 15 different types of ration packs? And all the Toms are like, fucking choose. What do you mean? I thought there was only one, because it'll be like some QE somewhere will be like, well, you know, there's 15 rat packs and there's 15 days. I'll have an A, a B, a C, you know, right through them. And then it's just like the grunts and the ground are left with, you just have E. And you're like, just the shit.
Yeah, I did hear that. We had a couple of we regularly get chocos coming on board for TSC. If you heard of that. Yeah. And I was talking to one of them, like, he's a good dude. He's a grunt as well. And I was like chatting shit to him, and I was talking about that. And he said, yeah, the same thing happens. Like one Q would just be like, that one, and just script the entire pile in a box, be like, there you go. And everyone's like, sweet. And they go, oh, it's the same thing for months on end. And you're just like, shit.
Yeah, bro. Oh, the food. Yeah, the food could definitely be improved. Like, I know when I was in Afghan, we were on a UK base, and like we were like, my company was split between 3 bases, and like we got the short end of the stick because we were at the base in the middle of fucking nowhere. It wasn't even considered a base. It was just a camp because it was that small with like 6 guard towers around it. Like 24-hour man. But then the big base was like, it was like $40 per person for the day. That's like the funding they'd given the mess. And then like the other base was like, because it had heaps of rank, the other base was like $80 a day. Our base was like $8.30. And it was like UK shit. Like it was fucked. And all of it was supplemented ration pack. Like,
oh, good.
You'd have like, you know, you'd eat, like you'd be like, oh, they've got mince meat, and you get it. And it was like, oh, they've just tipped all the little rations out into a bowl and heated it up. Like, and we were out there trying to like buy bread off like locals and shit. Like, we can't eat.
Yeah, man. I can only, I don't feel, but I 100% sympathize and like understand. I was like, speaking of guys, I was like, bro, like, I know how lucky we get it. I can only imagine how shit it is when it's like, you just get, here's this, like, as most defense members know, it's defense products are the cheapest bought because the cheapest bidded, because they don't want defenses want to spend obviously too much money on stuff. And I remember the first time I saw a box, I was helping move stores across in down in Cerberus, and I looked at the box and it's like, it says something like for military grade or like correctional facilities or something like that, and I was just like, sweet. It's like, and that's me, and I'm like, what animal is that? Like, did it woof? Did it meow? Did it like bleat? I don't know. Let's just get going. Whatever. If it tastes nice, who cares?
Bro, I absolutely guarantee. Like, I guarantee prisoners get fed way better than grunts. Like than most.
100%. 100%.
Fuck yeah, good shit.
Yeah, man.
What was, and I know I think the reason you and me actually got in touch in the beginning was the charity event you did.
Yeah.
And was it 12 months ago now or longer? I'm trying to think.
Oh, fuck, when was it? It was, I think it was the late last year, end of last year.
Yeah.
Because it was around Remembrance Day, so it was November last year.
Yeah. Oh shit, shorter than I thought then. Yeah.
Yeah. So man, time flies. Yeah. So that came to me. I was literally at the gym, walking on the treadmill, and just in my own little zone. And I was just like, "Fuck it, why not? What's the worst that's going to happen? I'll do something. I'll do a charity event." And I was going to plan for Anzac Day. And I was like going through my head of things I could do. I was like, I could walk this, I could do this, I could do that. I'd get my friends involved and all that stuff. And then I was like, Remembrance Day is only around the corner. I'll just do it for Remembrance Day. And then I was like, sweet, I'll do something on the day. And then remembered that I had prior engagements, and stuff. So I was like, I can't do it on the Wednesday. I think it was a Wednesday. So I'll do it on the Saturday instead. And yeah, I just come home to the missus and was like, this is what I'm doing. And she's like, okay. Then I was like, no, I'm going to do it. She's like, oh, okay, sweet. When do you want to do it? And I was like, Saturday. And she's like, you got to organize all these things first. And I was like, I should be right. And I ended up sitting at work on my laptop, like going through, because I didn't know where I wanted to do it. And I was going to do it like at a park up the road near the Navy.
Right? Again?
So I ended up doing an axle deadlift. So it's like a normal deadlift, but just high off the ground, like big old axle wheel. Sorry. I did 110 kilos for 420 reps.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I was going to do 200. I said, I'll do 200 kilos 420 times. And then the missus taught me, and my coach talked me down off the ledge. Like, bro, like, you can do that, but you won't be able to walk the next day, especially I didn't prep for it. I just did it. So they're like, you are not going to be able to walk and survive. You probably won't do it. And they're like, you can pick a lower weight and get it done, or you can do a heavy weight and really grind and struggle and potentially not finish and have that like regret of not finishing it. So I was like, I'll do the lighter weight and finish it. Even though that was still a grind, bro. It's still hard.
That's fucking crazy, man. So yeah, so it ended up you ran it on the Saturday.
Yeah, I just ran it the Saturday at the local gym that I trained at or used to train at. And I hit up one of the girls. She runs Top End Strongman, who I've done some stuff, competed through and herped out and stuff. And I hit her up and I was like, hey, can you help me with some stuff? And she's like, Chantel, she's amazing. And like, we're good friends anyway. So it was easy to hit her up. And she's like, yeah, man, do this. We'll get these people involved. And I was like, oh yeah. And then she's like, have you spoken to the gym? And I was like, no, I haven't. I didn't think it'd be a thing. She's like, no, hit them up. So I spoke to the gym. And they're like, yeah, you come down and we'll chat about it. And they were like, we don't want no non-members doing it. And I was like, no, I'm the only one doing it. I'm a paying member, so I'm already covered by insurance. And they're like, yeah, sweet. And then I went to work and was like to my chief, so like a WO2 equivalent, I think it is. I was like, hey man, this is what I want to do. Just letting you know. And he's like, sweet. Have you filled out this form? What are you doing it for? Who's it with? Who's the charity? I'm like, oh, the charity's Red Six. And he's like, okay. Are they affiliated with any bad people? Are they gangs? Are they this? Are they that? And I'm just like, whoa, like, do you have any idea who these people are? And he's like, no. And I explained like what they do and all the good work and stuff. And he's like, oh, but still, do you know? I'm just like, no, I don't know, but you know what? It'll be fine. Just let me do it.
Yeah.
I submitted all the forms and all stuff. And then I did the event. And then 2 weeks later, I got the forms back saying you're approved to do the event. And I was like, sweet, I've done it anyway. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, too late now, boys.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, it's fine. Even if you said no, I was doing it anyway. So,
yeah, fuck. Red Six is, I haven't had actually, I should say not much. I've had a little bit to do with them. When they first came out, I did a fair bit of promo for them. It's a fucking good charity. Like, I'm not that involved. Like, but I know they do some good shit. You might be more over it than me as far as the app and everything.
Yeah, so I downloaded the app and because I did a bit of like looking through Facebook and Instagram stuff, and I was like, oh, what's the app? And I downloaded it because I was like, why not? And then I saw what it was about. I'm like, that's a great idea. It's like having an app where if you're not having a good day or whatever, you can just like essentially tick a box and it lets people know. And I was like, if you're really not having a good day, like you're having some really dark thoughts and everything, you hit a button, and it's like it goes straight to emergency services and all the people in the area, and you can help respond. And I was like, that's a great idea, because it's so simple, and especially nowadays with technology, it's so everyone's got a phone in their hands or whatever, or nearby, that it's a simple, you don't have to think about it. It's an unconscious decision to like go on your phone, check Instagram or whatever, that you can just like open the app, hit a button, and then just know that someone's going to come help if you don't want to physically speak to someone.
Yeah.
Which is, it's better than, it's better than nothing, or better than, unfortunately, what's been happening recently, where people have just been, not having good thoughts and taking their lives because they think there's no way out. And things they do are incredible, and I can only imagine like if those people had like downloaded an app or actually spoken to someone, like where we'd be now. So yeah, I'm
trying to fucking remember the guy's name who started the app, because I'm friends with him on Facebook. But they're really good guys too. Yeah, because as far as I'm aware, it's like a bit of like a traffic light system. Like,
yeah, that's it.
greens are
Yeah,
all
that's
good.
it. Yeah,
You know, yellow's like, yeah, red, you know, whatever. And then there's like critical, like black fucking.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, yeah.
Have you had much, I guess, experience with your guys, whatever, mental health within Defence Force?
Yeah, man. We have, so it's not a heap, but like definitely you see it a lot. Especially on boats, I'd say more so. Over the last couple of years, it's been like not too bad. It's still like, it's not great, don't get me wrong, but it's not been as bad as it has been. Like say 2016, 2015, or even earlier, when it was probably like the busiest time for patrol boats in Darwin and Cairns too, when like it was like the height of the asylum seeker period, where like I hear stories from guys that are like, they would board a boat, take them to a facility or wherever, take them to a port, and then turn around and go board another boat, take them to a port, turn around, board another boat, and they'd be there 3 months in the sea, just doing that for like days, weeks on end, months on end, and just like non-stop, not sleeping, not getting enough, like not getting enough, just downtime. And then that was that, and I was dealing with like a busy workload, because they were what they call multi-crewing. So they had like 2 or 3 crews for a boat. So they do, one crew would do a time at sea, they'd come back, swap out, and that boat would kind of always be going, but they'd get a break, so like get some rest at least. But then yeah, some incidents kicked off, and people started to get savvy and realize that they could play the system, which didn't end well. There was a 60 Minutes did a story, I can't remember the year exactly. I know one of the guys was on the boarding when it happened, and they blew up the boarding, the Siev.
Yeah.
And there was like Siev 67 or something like that. And they the guys boarded it, and the people got wind that they weren't going to take them to Australia, they were going to take them to somewhere else. And so they started pouring petrol and stuff in the boat, and lit the engine on fire, and it blew up, and like just sent shit, like essentially fucked shit up. Guys are like, the guy I know, he was the boat driver. He was like going around trying to pull like Navy members in, and like they're getting like swamped by all these people who can't swim. The life jackets aren't that buoyant. It was not a good day. It's definitely one of the more fucked up things I've heard, and seen too. Like seeing the footage, the blood blowing up, and yeah, that's one of the. I was watching the thing, and the missus come home, and she asked me to turn it off, because she's very, very good in terms of like knowing what I do and the risk involved. But she was like, I can't watch that, just because she thinks that could happen to me, and I'm like, realistically it could, but I'm not. As you do, you don't think about it, you just do it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What do you think we're doing wrong with, I guess, some mental health stuff? Or
it's up here. It's a case of there's not enough. I don't think there's not enough time to decompress. So you do a patrol. So to break it down, you'll be force assigned for a period. So you'll be in charge by like group and the higher uppers, and they'll be like, yes, sweet, you're going to go here and do this. And then you'll be out there, and through that 3 months, it's very much a high tempo. You're at 8 hours notice to sea, so you always have to be ready. You can't really go out and have a drink and like just chill. You pretty much everything's ready to go. So you're just waiting for a phone call for like, could be waiting for 3 months. But what normally happens is you'll force a sign on this date, and then like 2 or 3 days later, you'll sail, go to wherever you're going. You might end up not doing nothing and just, as we do quite often, find a shoal and go for a fish for a couple of hours, catch some fish for the night's food or whatever, chill out, relax. But then there'll be times where you do like 2 or 3 boardings, and you'll be busy, you'll find something wrong, and then you come back from that stint at sea to be, okay, sweet, we're going to be home for a week, 5 days, whatever. So go home, go sleep, whatever. And you get home and your phone rings, and you're like, okay, we've got to sail again. So it can be very much for go. Like I know guys who have been coming into Coonamora Basin ready to like pull up, and their boats have stopped and just started reversing back and gone back out again, because they got a call that we need you to go here and do this, and you can't really say no. So yeah, it's very, very, very high tempo up here compared to everywhere else, because we can leave under our own method. We don't need tugs or assistance. We can just go.
Yeah.
So very much the phone goes off, you go, and then and I don't know if you've seen Pedralbes, they're not the biggest vessels. They're only like 50 meters long by like 25 meters wide. You don't really get much space to chill out, and like if you want to like just you're not having a good day, so you just want to go be alone by yourself, you literally have a curtain on your bed that you can shut across, and that's your like personal space that no one can really go in. And there's no decompression time. That's the biggest thing. Needs more of that.
Yeah, it's a hard one, isn't it, with the tempo? Because it almost seems like there's particular units or boats or whatever, always they're the ones getting fucked over. Like I know my old unit, it always seemed to be us. It was always fucking 7 RAR doing the task. It was like, for fuck's sake, stab someone else once. Like there's a whole bunch of force. Like why we were on the ready combat teams and we were the ones stabbed to do COVID assist. And it's like, why?
Yeah.
The lads have been on half hour notice to move, or whatever it bloody is, a couple of hours notice to move. For now, it was well over 2 years now, but it was like 18 months at the time.
Yeah.
And they're combat soldiers, infantry combat team. Why is it them getting called up to stand on a hotel door? Why aren't we ringing the reserves or the armored dudes across the road or the raffies that sit around? Wait, like what the fuck is it? Us? And it was always just, it seemed to be just us. It seems like the same up there.
Yeah, man, it's very like we got, like I said, through COVID, the boats got very lucky. They left the line for that reason because they knew it was very high tempo. But a lot of the guys, like when I posted off my old boat mid last year, it was going ashore, as we call it, going to like a land posting, so to speak. It's meant to be respite, but you end up working more than you do on a boat for days anyway. Because on a boat, if you're like working the day or whatever, you might start at 7:30, but you can knock off at 12, or 1:30 because they know how much you get flogged when you're at sea.
Yeah.
So you come ashore for respite and you end up don't getting because you work at full days and then working weekends and doing duties and stuff. And then COVID assist happened, which like I completely understand and they get why they had to do it, but they could have picked different units or different people from units. Like one of the boys who I've been on and off in touch with, he's just posted up here. He got his Christmas leave cancelled to go do COVID assist to then come back and a day later join TSE for 3 months.
Yeah.
And he had submitted his leave and paid for everything. Like it was pretty much just like waiting for the day. And they were like, I don't know the exact conversation, but I'm pretty sure it was along the lines of like, you can't go anymore. We need you to go do this. And I heard that and I just swung in a message like, bro, like, you ever need to chat? Like, I'm here. Like, I get it. He's like brand new, fresh seaman, just posted up from Cerberus too. And I was like, bro, like, you don't need this right now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I was like, man, like, yeah, because like, I don't know, as a young, fresh dude, you don't really say no because you don't think you can say no. And it's not until you get later on in your career, you're like, I can actually stand up for myself and be like, no, I'm not going to do that. Or no, you can't make me do that. As much as we're in the military and you have to say, like they say, do jump, you say how high. You can still be like, no, this is my mental health, or I need this respite. This is going to not do me well. So yeah, it's not good.
Oh mate, it seems like a bit of a defense-wide thing that at the moment. Yeah. Because like, and not to have a dick measuring contest, but like our boys had their leave cancelled at the end of 2019, start of 2020 due to the bushfires. They mounted the bushfire assist and then didn't demount for like 6 months and then remounted. Some of them hadn't demounted off op bushfire and mounted onto op COVID and had, their 2019, 2020 leave canned. Now their 2021 leave canned. And guys are like, and in between that, so through 2019, they were on the ready combat teams. So, they're within, I forgot what the lowest is. It might be 2 hours or 4 hours notice to move.
Yeah.
And then they were like, then they got called into the bushfires, whatever. And then COVID hit and then they couldn't leave the state. And then their leave got canned and now they still can't really leave. And guys are like, I haven't seen my family in years. Not because like I can't go more than 2 hours from here because of policy, but then we've been called in. Like, what the fuck? Surely there's some duty of care that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
100%.
I haven't been more than 2 hours from the base.
Yeah, I think COVID was the main like thing that just fucked it. 2020 was a write off as far as I'm concerned. The fact that like you couldn't leave a state, like I know you got like same thing, guys who couldn't go home and see their families for Christmas, and couldn't like guys who had left their newborn children like the day after they've been born to go back to work, and then COVID come along, just fucked it for everyone. So yeah, I think once COVID goes, defense needs to kind of like not relax, but just go, yes, sweet, if you want to take a leave, you can have it. Just to give people a bit of a break and just be like, that may take a year, but at least when that happens, we'll give you something, because it's been a shit fight up until then, just because, no one saw this coming. And then all of a sudden we're in lockdown. You can't leave your house. You can't go in 1-2 hours out of your locality and stuff. And you guys are just like, well, I'm going stir crazy because I'm not from here. I'm from somewhere else, or I can't see my family, can't do this, can't have barbecues and shit. It's definitely not a good time.
Yeah, well, I know what I would like to see happen, and I'm a very small fish in the defense world, but defense really have a break, almost like sit down and be like, okay, we need to give the whole defense a fucking break. Like, it doesn't mean our capability drops, but then there's two things in this. It's okay, we need to give people a break because they're fucking people behind the uniform.
Yeah.
But we haven't actually done training, like proper training now for like a year because of COVID. There's been little bits and pieces, and people will say, they did to get sign off. We haven't done a proper X in a long time. It needs to, give some guys a break, fix the people, then, increase that capability on the tools again.
Yeah, exactly. Guys, I know people who've they've just started opening up courses, because unfortunately for us, majority of our courses are down in Cerberus, which is down the southern end of Melbourne. So getting to Victoria was near impossible for a stage. So guys now, they can actually travel going on courses to get away from work, because they're like, that's a holiday. Like I'm getting paid by defense to go to a course. That's easy work, and I'm not at work. And I was like, that's not a holiday. That's it. Like courses, I enjoy doing courses. It's a good break, change up the routine, but I would consider that a holiday. I consider that going like it's. But yeah, these people look at it like it's a holiday. I'm like, wow, that's pretty bad. Like something needs to change very, very soon. Otherwise, it's only going to get worse before it gets better, as it always does.
Yeah, it's a big circle, the army, or the defense, I should say. It all comes and goes.
Yeah.
I think we're in a bit of a lull at the moment, and maybe we're at a peak where it's about to really turn around and get awesome again.
Yeah, I hope so, because it's definitely not good at the moment. Not as good as it could be anyway.
Not as good as it could be, and the media isn't helping with shit they're exposing, and it's a 0.1% thing, and it's like you're weighing in on shit that doesn't even concern the wider army. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It might have been one SAS dude in a SAS op, and it's like most people don't even know one SAS dude, like let alone like stepping out the fucking patrol. Like I've been asked so many times for a comment, and I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like I know as much about that as whoever is on the street and has never served. Like, do you have any idea how like when they talk about it's all behind secrecy and shit over West? No fucking shit. Like even the dudes in, I know nothing about it. Like,
and even if I knew someone's like, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, sure, this happened. Joe Blow did this. You're like, because you're just going to go, oh sweet, and run with it because you're a creative writer essentially. You're going to blow up a story because you want the tabloids and the headlines.
Yeah,
and it's like, even if I wanted to give you a legit comment that was serious, like you're going to take my word and just go, hold on, so let me twist that to make it sell papers. And he's like, man, everyone's become especially over COVID, everyone's become a keyboard warrior. Like they were bad before, but everyone's like, oh, I've got nothing else to do, so I'm going to sit in front of my laptop, my iPad, whatever, and comment on people's shit. Yeah. And he's like, some of it, I'm like, okay, sweet, I can see, you're just giving a comment, but some of them, like most of them, is like, you need to stop because you're just going to feed negativity into a negative time already. And I'm not the smartest person, nor do I claim to be, but two negatives don't you don't put fire out with fire. Yeah. You keep adding fire, it's gonna get bigger, and then shit like this happens.
Oh,
and and then people go, oh, we didn't realize it's that bad. It's like, you're the motherfuckers who are adding fuel to it. You need to just take a step back and realize what you're saying is affecting you. You're typing something and going, oh, I don't mean anything by it. And so, well, guess what? That person took offense to it or took it personally, and that that was a straw that broke camel's back. It's like, it's not necessarily your fault, but you didn't help the situation either.
Yeah, no, absolutely, bro. Yeah, there's people that just love you. Just shut the fuck up. You don't know. Like,
you had no idea.
and I'm like, if I don't know, you don't know. I guarantee if I'm not tracking it, you're not either. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. If I'm not spitting facts, then you shouldn't be either. It's just fuck this shit.
Oh, mate, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, well, hey, look, that's what, an hour, hour 05.
Hour 05, Jesus Christ.
I know, fucking
yeah, man.
Is there anything else you want to fucking chat about?
I don't know. The reason I hit you up is I was doing my lawns the other week and I was like, just listen to one of your podcasts. I can't remember who it was. You're chatting with, and I was just like, I could do that. Like, sure, you can't. Not that it can't be that hard, but I was like, why not? I could do that. And I was like, I'll ask. What's the worst that's going to happen? You're only gonna be like, no, man, it's all good. Thank you anyway. Because from last time I messaged you, you weren't really that much of an asshole. So I was like, it'll be fine. And then it just happened. And so I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll run with it. Why not? What's the worst that's going to happen? Like, I don't have a product to spin out, or like a platform or anything like that to endorse. I'm just like, bro, I'm just a dude that's like, give my take on what's been going on. Because I don't know, it seemed like we did it at the time, so I ran with it.
Why not? Man. Like, but that's I think the beauty of the podcast is it's not about like when I started it, and I know it's taken some different shapes and forms across the way of the podcast, but like the initial concept was like, just through my diagnosis, I've met, so many other people that I would have never met otherwise.
Yeah.
And it's like everyone from, people who you consider famous to just random people. And it's sort of like but everyone has a story within that to tell. And it has never been like an exclusive thing of like, you earn your right to come on the fucking podcast. Like, I'm the most average dude in the world. I just like talking shit with other people. I
don't know. It's just like, just like I said, I don't know. I got nothing. I can't think of anything to say. Like, I was like, when you replied, I was chuffed, bro. I was like, sweet. And then I just got this massive wave of anxiety. I was like, oh shit. There's my voice. Like, I'm gonna, and I hate sounding big headed, but like, I'm gonna be out there like talking about stuff that like I think I know everything about, but like we just spoke about, I know fucking nothing. And I was like, screw it. I'll just speak. What's the worst is going to happen?
Yeah.
And for anyone listening from ADFIS, I do not represent the Navy anyway. My thoughts are my own, and don't come knocking on my door, please.
Nah, that's all right. I've had a lot to do with them anyway, mate.
Yeah.
No, and the show, has nothing to do with, defense. It's just a thing, talking about whatever, but
yeah.
No, well, bro, look, unless there's anything else, I've really actually enjoyed our chat. It's been fucking awesome.
Same. Likewise.
Down and it was like, fucking, whatever time it is. Told my computer's wrong, but I'm like, what the fuck? Like, okay, it's been an hour. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, man. It's been great. I was thinking, I was like, shit, how am I gonna like talk for a period of time? Like, I can talk, I can hold a conversation, but I was like, it gets to a point, especially like your first time meeting someone, you get to a point, you're like, yeah, cool. Well, look, it's been real, but like, I gotta go. I've got stuff to do or whatever. And then, like you said, it's been like an hour. And I'm like, oh, sweet. Like I gotta also keep going, but I know it would get to that point. I'm like, that's when it gets awkward. And he's like, sweet, this is fucking great.
Yeah, no, it's fucking good shit, man. But I had one. I won't say who, but I had one where I was talking to him and I looked down and we were 12 minutes in and I was done. Like, I'd say I'm pretty good at talking shit because of all my experience in pubs, talking shit with random dudes over beer. And it was like 10 minutes or 12 minutes. And I'm like, holy fuck. I was like, oh no. Like, I'm just coming up with just random shit. I'm like, fuck, what am I going to say?
I could only pull so much teeth before I can't speak anymore. Like, come on, bro, give me something.
Mate, that's the best thing. That's why I've done 2 podcasts with Pronky is like, he's such like, he's a SAS dude who's a doctor. You're like, oh, we're not going to run out of shit of like me asking you stupid questions. I'm so intrigued. Like, what the fuck?
I'm not going to lie. I was watching that podcast. I think it was one of the ones you did with, and I had all 4 of my wisdom teeth out the day before. So I was hoped up in all kinds of drugs, sitting there watching you guys chat. And I swear, like, it was the funniest thing I've ever seen because I was that drugged up. like you guys are probably just talking shit, and I'm just like laughing. I'm like, this is great. And then I think the missus there, she's looking at me, and I'm like laughing. She goes, "It's funny, but it's like not hilarious." And I'm like, "Yeah, this is great. This guy should be comedians or whatever." And then
that original one, man. That original one of me and him. I don't know about him, but it was like it was almost 4 hours, and I was so drunk by the end of it. Like it started like an awkward times. It was like, say, like 6 o'clock at night it started, and I had some drinks, we had some whiskey and whatever, and like I hadn't had dinner, and by like 10 when the podcast is going, you can, if you watch like 2 minutes in the start and just go like 4 hours in, and you just see me sitting there just like like just fucking around on my computer and shit, just like, oh no, on the thumbs, I'm fucking too pissed.
Well, that's almost the better part, because that's like you go drink and you start getting loose and start talking more, because you just like, you don't care. So you can talk the most, like the best shit, and just be like, oh sweet, let's get pissed before the podcast, and then let's start talking and see where the world takes us.
Oh bro, that's what I'd love to do. I want to really I want to do one where I bring like random people in. So like just like you and some other random you've never met, and then just be like, you guys can do the podcast for me. See, dudes, like I'll just be the mediator of conversation.
Just stand out the front and be like, hey, can you speak English? Yes, come this way, please.
Yeah, come in here.
Do you speak English? Come this way.
Tell
Sit
us
here. Okay, who are you? Start talking.
Yeah, no, fucking absolutely, man. Oh, well, bro, look, the show doesn't go ahead without people, reaching out and, doing it. So like, I honestly can't thank you more. Really means a lot.
Man,
is there anything you need to plug? Any events coming up?
No, not really. Like I said, I've got nothing. I've got no backing, no crazy social media following where I'm going to slightly change the world. Just a dude living in Darwin, doing his best.
That's good, man. Well, if you do another charity thing, make sure you let us know. It'll be all over my ones as well.
Yeah. Well, I did last time, but you decided to take a holiday, and then you're like, oh, can you send it to us? I'm like, oh yeah, it's done, bro.
Oh, was that when I had a break off socials for like 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think I can't remember. Yeah, because I hit a bunch of people up. So I was like, screw it. What's the worst that's going to happen? I sent a message to you, sent one to, I think I sent one to Dan Pronk, sent one to guy at a Convict Coffee. I can't remember his name. I'm sorry if he's listening. But a bunch of people, like especially ex-defense and 30 minutes, like, hey man, like, can you help me plug this? I really want to get it as much money raised as I can for this awesome cause. And yeah, like I said, you hit back like, yeah, man, just let us know close to the date. And I did, but obviously you were away living your life, which is like, it's fun to your life. And then, yeah, you just remember getting this message like, hey man, sweet, when's this thing? And I'm like, oh shit. Yeah. It was like 2 days ago, bro. And you're like, oh, cool. Anyway, don't worry about it, man. It's fine. And I was like, yes, sweet, cool.
Yeah, I fucking, I wish that was a one-off too, but I fucking really struggle to keep up like with shit like that in my messages. Like it just flows in and I'm like, fuck, and there's this shit, I miss dates and I'm like, fuck. Like I'm just like, oh no, yeah. I fucked it here.
Yeah, I can only imagine, like, yeah, it's just imagine like how many, like the amount of people who reach out in general and you just like, I want to respond to all of you, but I can't because I'm only one man and it's only 24 hours in a day and I need food and sleep.
Well, so far I've replied to everyone who's ever messaged me in some form. Yeah. But I'm sort of waiting for the day I leave it a couple too many days, and it's like, fuck. Oh,
yeah,
no.
Just gone. So when you don't check your emails and you phone for a bit, next thing you know, you have 4,000 emails. It's like, oh, well, she's growing now.
Yeah, I know. The funniest one was I did a crossing across the desert, and I didn't have my phone on me for like, say, 10 days. And I didn't really tell anyone, at least online, that I was going to be out of any social media distance. And everyone thought I'd fucking died. Everyone's like, "There's fucking with cancer hasn't put a story up for 10 days." Like, fucking hell, like,
inconsiderate prick. He didn't tell us he was dying, but he didn't tell us he was dying so soon. Like, what the fuck?
Nah, man. Well, look, thank you very much. I do really appreciate it, bro.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for letting me come on and spin my shit. It was, yeah.
Easy, man. Right. Well, I'll fucking, I'll chat to you offline anyway.
Yeah, man. Legend. Cheers so much.
Right.
Thank you.